Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So just to cover a few things here, mainly doing this video to give you guys an update on Free Comic Book Day because obviously it's tomorrow. And as I've been covering for the last couple of days on Twitter and previous videos, it does seem to very much be the case that if you are not in North America, you probably won't be able to get the Avatar / Star Wars free comic that is going to be available tomorrow. Now, some of this is like on the High Republic subreddit. Some people are posting about how like they've basically had it confirmed that yeah, this book won't be available here. Just like the actual single issues, which is kind of what the problem is, aren't available. This free comic also won't be available. Similarly, Dark Horse on Twitter did post about it. Someone asked, why aren't they available in the UK? And they just said that they can't speak for Marvel, but Dark Horse has North American distribution rights from Disney Lucasfilm. So note how they don't say like any other region except North America, probably highlighting that the kind of takeaway realistically has to be that if you're not in North America, you probably won't be able to get it. Now, they do also, I think somewhere on this, confirm that, yeah, there will be a digital release of this. They'll confirm it a little bit later on. Sometimes this is somewhat quick to release. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But just do be aware that there will be ways to get this. And I am sure people who do get it will post pictures of it online and stuff like that. So I'll do my best to get a review out tomorrow, but that's where we stand on this. Obviously, it seems to be fully confirmed for the UK. It seems to be the case. I don't really know exactly how the whole distribution works elsewhere, but it does seem to be the case. I would still say check on what your local comic book store is doing. If you can, contact them about this, see what's going on. If they're posting pictures of what books they have, look into that. Don't just, make your decision, oh, I'm not going just because of this, do your check just to make sure that like your comic store doesn't have some weird way that distribution works and they are maybe not affected by this. But I'm pretty sure it has been for a while now. High Republic Adventures specifically just isn't available outside of I think Panini do the trade paperback printing, which is I think part of the issue, which really confuses things. But anyway, that's that whole issue. So bit disappointing, but for some people it might be like cool, kind of frees up your day tomorrow in that you might not need to attend Free Comic Book Day, but that's that. Then we go into some Weiss Schwarz card reveals. So I believe these will be the last ones for this week. So we had yesterday's reveals for Thursday. We had these two Aang cards. So Aang Firebending Misfire and Aang Wavering Confidence. So once again highlighting that there are Aang cards in all the different colors. And then they also teased, I actually asked a question and they answered. And they said that the finisher for the Aang multicolor deck is going to be revealed on May 28th. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how exactly that one operates, in that multicolor decks can be quite tricky to get going, especially at the higher levels, just guaranteeing that you can play your multicolor cards. So it'll be interesting what way it works. Like, is it just if you happen to get lucky and like flip over the right amount of cards, you'll, deliver a really, really powerful blow? Or will there be kind of mechanics more based around like, treat Aang as if he's all colors or something like that? We'll have to wait and see. But we have a level 0 and a level 1 here. These are pretty cool. Like a lot of these cards, even though some of these are just like commons and stuff like that, seem like they have pretty nice utility here. Like this one lowers your opponent's power on their kind of front row characters. And then you can put one card from your hand into your waiting room and put this card into the waiting room, and you can choose a character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So you can sort of continue, like do a little bit of looping here. You're obviously going down in card advantage here ultimately, because you do have to, put a card from your hand into the waiting room and get rid of this. But then like if you get this back, it's a 0 cost, so you can play it again. So it seems like this is a little bit of a combo. If you really want to lower your opponent's power multiple times, you can kind of do a bit of a combo. The level 1 is interesting. When it's placed on stage, it gets power equal to the number of characters you have times 500. So, that's pretty decent for a level 1. And if you defeat an opponent's character, if you have another World of Avatar character, you may draw a card. And then if you do that, discard a card. So replace a card in your hand with a draw. Seems pretty nice for commons, which obviously highlights that some of the uncommons, rares, double rares are going to be a little bit more kind of like powerful. And we've already seen like some of the reveals, like the Dancing Dragon, Aang and Zuko cards. So you get a sense for kind of a little bit of what we're doing here, which is kind of nice. And then today's reveals were some Sokka cards. So it's the same Sokka card, but you can see here rare, and then an Avatar rare as well. So it's our first time seeing an Avatar rare. And now you might think this means something super, super crazy. This is basically this it's kind of second highest rarity in the set. Like SP is going to be the highest rarity. This is more or less an equivalent rarity to triple rare. I think these will be slightly harder to get than triple rares, but I think the foiling is going to be basically the same. So yeah, Sokka offering different perspectives. So obviously it's in blue, of course, and I think this is a pretty nice card. Again, not lots of utility here. It's a rare, so it will be a kind of more of a kind of build, like you want to use this in your decks, of course. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand and put into your waiting room from the stage, you may pay the cost, which is 1 stock, and also put 1 World of Avatar character from your waiting room onto the bottom of your clock. So that's basically 1 stock, and then do 1 damage to yourself. So when you do that, search your deck for 1 cost 0 or lower, so a 0 cost character with level equal to or lower than your level, and put it into any position on your stage. So that's really, really interesting. So it does have to be 0 cost, so you're not going to get the kind of advantage there, and that's sort of the limitation on it. But the level is equal to or lower than what the level you're on. So this is I think a very good card, and it feels like because it's level 0, I can see quite a few of the Avatar decks using something like this, but I'm assuming there'll be some other quite powerful level 0s with sort of similar utility to this, but it's nice to see there's a level 0 Sokka that does the job as well. So you can see the Sokka's Master kind of art on the normal rare version of the card. The Avatar rare uses a nice kind of stock art of Sokka, and of course this one's going to have like the crazy foiling on it as well. So that is pretty exciting. But like I say here in my quote tweet, first Avatar rare. I wonder who'll get the reveal on the second Avatar rare. So keep an eye on my channel on Monday, because yeah, like I said before, I'm part of the reveals, and they said content creator reveals are on every Monday, so I might be next. We'll just leave it at that. And then we'll end, as we have done in some of the last few ones, with some Avatar Generations news. So the Kyoshi event continues to go on. And at this point, we are looking ahead to what's going to be the new stuff for next week. So next Tuesday, basically, we're going to get an update. And while this is likely a tease, they're not directly saying it's related to what's going on here, but I think this is part of their kind of teasing of what's coming. And it's like, who is this character? It's obviously Yoon, of course, and that's because we basically know the banner that is going to come on Tuesday is going to be for Yoon. So we'll finally have a chance to get Yoon properly, not just the once or twice you get to play as him during the story. You'll actually be able to get him properly, level him up, and so on. Now, that's fine, that makes sense. He's going to come, there's going to be some challenges, I guess maybe some event shop stuff added, but where does that leave like the rest of the event? Because there's still basically Heiron, Kelsang, Jeonju still to come, and the event the week after this, so once we get to Tuesday, the week after that, that will be the week the Peace Chaos banner happens, which we basically know is going to be Kelsang and Jeonju. It does leave a bit of a mystery surrounding what's going on with Heiron. Now, what seems to be the case, and part of the whole kind of like data mining situation, is that basically the data for all the other characters has been in the game, and that's why people have been able to figure out what's coming like ahead of time. There's small amounts of data with the other characters, like that's why we know bits and pieces about Jonju and stuff like that. But they're not like fully in the game yet, and I think the idea is that the Peace Chaos that week is going to feature a proper like patch, like update for the game that will actually, I think, add properly all this stuff in, which I think highlights that, you know, the last week of the event is going to be something a little bit more significant that we maybe thought, because it's going to add in like these three characters that are going to be like completely new, like we haven't seen what their skills are or anything like that yet. And I really am fascinated to see what they do here, because I think the options for Heiron are either they make her a kind of high summon rate character as part of the Peace Chaos banner with Kelsang and Jonju, except I think we know she's defense, not peace or chaos, but treat her basically like they treated young Kiyoshi in the main event that's ongoing, the main banner, like the Mind Pirate that's in the Tagaka banner, where she has like a 5.5% chance of summon, which is very high. And she's more or less a sort of free character to a certain degree if you put even a small amount of summons in. I think they're either going to do that, or you will just be able to buy Heiron from like the event shop or something like that. They might add her to the summon store, though that could be a little awkward for some people to get. They might miss out on that, because I know myself, I've not really bought much stuff from the summon store in terms of like characters for coins, because a lot of stuff costs so much. So it does seem to be the case, though, that Heiron is going to be more or less considered like a kind of 4-star character, which would suggest she's going to be more or less kind of like quote unquote, you know, given to you for kind of quote unquote free, because she's not going to have some like crazy kind of banner that takes a lot of work to get like some of the other characters do. That's, I think, what all the evidence we have is kind of pointing towards right now, but we ultimately just don't know what exact way we are going to get that character, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, like it's 3 full new characters. We don't know what their skills are, and they're pretty hyped characters because they're all like bending masters. It's Karuk's team avatar. It's the kind of teachers for the kind of for the avatar basically in this era. That's where they're positioned. But also, we do have to kind of talk, I suppose, a little bit about the whole Peace Chaos event being Kelsang and Jonju, and I'm kind of like, are we going to get more story? Because if you'll remember where we've left off with the story so far, like, the next event that is basically about to happen is the huge twist, like, kickoff event. And I really do feel that they may just give us that, because they only have to advance the story on, like, a little bit, and all of a sudden we have some pretty huge moments. And I kind of feel that the whole reason the Jonju Kelsang banner is being kept somewhat secret, to the point where we really only know that that's the case from like data mining, is because it's a bit of a story spoiler for what happens. So I don't know. I do feel there's maybe a chance we get a bit more story with the last week of the event, but we'll see what happens here, because it's getting exciting here to see what happens, and you know, hopefully they execute this all well, and they don't kind of like spoil things or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. So the Yun banner we expect to be very similar to the Tagaka banner in terms of it being like 120 pity. It'll be Yun plus like a signature relic for him, and I don't know if there'll be that much else. Like, there's maybe the chance where like they just randomly slip Heiron in here, but I think it is beginning to come across that those 3 characters will be kept until the last week of the event to make it a really big event. At least that's where I'm kind of leaning towards at this point. But yes, that has been the news. I will attempt, like I said, to get a review for the free comic out tomorrow. But other than that, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on what I had to cover today. The fact that, yeah, it does seem like the availability of the free comic is not going to be great across multiple regions. Some more White Schwartz cards, and Yoon all but confirmed to be the banner coming next time out. We basically know it is the case, but some mystery around how they'll do the rest of the event. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.